Welcome back to another edition of Talk Nerdy to Me. I am your host, Troy Stegner. Before we get into this comic book review, I'm going to ask you for one favor. Subscribe to this channel. It really helps us a lot with the metrics. Pandering over. Looky, comic bookie. We have the new Wonder Woman, Black and Gold from DC Comics, number one. I'm going to tell you now, I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan. And honestly, this book did very little to change that. Now, as a character, I have no issues with Wonder Woman. In fact, I think Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, was one of the better DC movies. But man, I kind of like the artwork on the cover. This is another compilation of kind of short stories, man. I don't know what the deal is, why the two big publishers, Marvel and DC, are doing this all of a sudden. I don't know. And instead of calling it, short stories or whatever, it's Black and Gold. Okay, that kind of threw me for a loop. I read the first one was 4 or 5 pages long, and I was like, that's it. The first one, it's Mother's Daughter. It's just, and all of them are in black and white with gold accent, which I'm guessing is the whole black and gold theme, which I don't mind so much. But the first story is basically her mom's sick, she comes back to visit and take care of her, then she gets sick, but then they heal her, and then she goes back and she promises to visit more. That I didn't like that story. There was only one short story in the whole thing that I really didn't hate. The other one, is just, I don't know. I'm not enamored with any of the stories in here. The one that I kind of liked, which was basically they retconned the Lasso story, which I don't know why they change stories when they don't need to. The last one, called The Wager, she's getting ready to interrogate a dude, and she tells him, you're going to talk to me, even if I have to use the lasso, and the dude's trying to be all macho, saying, he has nothing to hide, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he's been a complete douche, and so she starts telling him the story of the lasso, and if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, because I'm sure it's been retconned more than once, but the story I was told from mythology it was made from Athena's. It was made from one of the goddesses' girdles, which made it indestructible. And then, the fires of Hestia are what causes people to tell the truth. Well, this one they kind of retconned it a little bit. And is a golden fleece that is on. It was guarded by a seven-headed dragon. Then this huge bull had it. So she kills the bull and gets the golden fleece. She takes it to the three fates, the three sisters. If you don't know that story, that's a pretty good story. The Clothos, Atropos, and I can never remember. Clothos, Atropos, and let me put on my eyeballs here. Lachesis, I can never remember her. One spins it, one cuts it. So they basically it's the thread of your life. They spin it and weave it, and then the third one is the one in charge of cutting it, which basically tells you how long your life's going to be. The golden fleece they spun into yarn or thread for her, which became the rope, and it wasn't tied to anybody's life, so that is why it is able to get them to tell the truth, or so that's that story. I mean, that's not a bad retell of it. That's not the one I've heard, and it's not the one from classic mythology. But hey, it's what comics do. They retcon each other. But that was the only short story in here I really cared for. I mean, there's a few others, and I'm not even going to bother delving into them because for me, they were very, very boring. One of them, she's fighting Circe. The battle's over within 4 or 5 pages, though. There's another one, Ageless, where she's talking about, people's lifespans being so much short because hers is longer. And I mean, if you know the story of Wonder Woman, she was not really born. She was kind of made out of clay because in Themyscira there's no dudes, man. So how can anybody get pregnant? They made her out of clay, and one of the gods breathed life into her for Queen Hippolyta, and that's that story. But yeah, Wonder Woman Black and Gold. I'm saying you would have to be a complete Wonder Woman fan to enjoy this one. I read it and I was just kind of meh. It was blah for me. Only one story even halfway caught my interest, the one I was telling you about with the lasso. The rest of these, I could do without those stories. I mean, the artwork's great on the cover. The interior, it's all going to be black, white, gold, in different shades of gray, of course. Stories, the short stories, it's kind of like what Marvel tried to do with Carnage. I'm not into the short story stuff, man. I'm sure there are the people who are. You can read it, it's over quick, you're not really invested in it, but I kind of like getting invested in a character throughout a full story arc. And for me, this didn't do it. I'm just going to say I would not subscribe to this one. I wouldn't even pick this one up off the shelf unless you're a very hardcore Wonder Woman fan. If you're into short stories and you like Wonder Woman, you'll like it. If not, avoid it like I'm going to. So that is my review of Wonder Woman Black and Gold #1. If you like this video, and I hope you do, and you'd like to see more like it, subscribe, man. It helps with the metrics tremendously, and it lets us do videos like this for you guys for free. And while you're at it, you can hit the bell icon. You'll be notified whenever we put up a new video. And until we get that video, later, nerds.
Get nerdy with me. Tell me what game that you get on. Is it card or Eve? What kind of class do you play, girl? In an RPG?